What's up, you guys? It's Simon. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to yet another chaotic Q&A. I say that it's chaotic because I'm still a little sick, so my voice is definitely interesting sounding, and also because these questions, I have received a handful of them, and they are in no particular order because I just wanted this to kind of feel like a chit-chatty, fun, sit down, relax, and vibe with me kind of video. I also decided to do it in a voiceover format just because, again, the volume and the type of questions. I don't want us to be here for 4 hours while I sit and answer these questions because you guys know me. I tend to ramble, and I also tend to not draw and talk at the same time, so I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me do nothing while I'm rambling about Roy Mustang. So instead, again, I'm going to be doing a voiceover, answering your questions, and drawing something. I don't even know what I'm going to be drawing yet. So yeah, maybe sit down, grab a snack, grab a drink, probably stand up if you were sitting down to go and get those things, and draw alongside me if you want. If you do draw alongside me, maybe like show me what you draw on Instagram or something. That would be fun to see. I always wonder if you guys sit and draw while I'm drawing, and if you do, what are you drawing? So maybe I should be one of those people that remembers at the beginning of the video to tell me, what are you drawing? Comment below, tag me on Instagram, maybe subscribe and like the video while you're at it. I don't know. Anyways, I'm already rambling, so let's get into an actual topical rambling with this Q&A. So question number 1, we have, what is your favorite animal? And to this, I never have a response because I love all animals so much. On any given day, you will get a different answer, and more often than not, it's probably an animal I literally just saw. For example, my husband has this little sheep plushie, so it would be a sheep probably, or my gut initial response is always a fox, but that I think is a falsity. I don't think it's true. I think the reason that my brain always says fox when someone asks what my favorite animal is 100% because of Naruto. I don't think it's true. I love foxes. They are very adorable. They're cute, and I love their weird little voices, but I think it's a lie. I don't think that's actually my favorite animal. Do I know what my favorite animal is, though? No. All of them. They're cute. I love them. Except for spiders. I don't know if spiders count as animals, but they don't count as insects because they have too many legs. So are they animals? I don't know. Spiders are my favorite. I don't hate them. They do scare me. Actually, tangent, rant, ramble. Okay, so my mom, she loves house spiders. You know, they're helpful. I get it. They have a purpose. I got beef with spiders. I don't really like them. They scare me. I hate the feeling of things crawling on me. And honestly, truthfully, my fear of spiders did not used to be so intense. It used to be just kind of like I wish they wouldn't be around me, until one year one crawled up my arm while I was sleeping. And it was a big spider. It was sizable. So I can't say I enjoyed that experience. And ever since then, my fear of spiders is a lot more palpable because I can feel them crawling on my skin when I see them, because I understand how that feels now, unfortunately. So one day, my mom got attached to this wolf spider that had entered our house during the winter, right? He was a good friend of my mother's. She would always talk to him. He was just a little guy. And one day, he crawls down out of the kitchen, because he used to hang out in the kitchen. He crawls down all the way down the hallway towards me and my brother's room. And I saw him outside my brother's doorway. And I looked at him. I was like, listen, dude, if you crawl up in my room, we're cool and everything. But if you touch me, it's over for you. I don't know what I'm going to do to you, but you better stay off of me. And he disrespected that. He disrespected my trust. He crawled right up my leg while I was working, and it was not pleasant. And then he ran away like the little coward he was. I don't remember what happened to him. I like to think he wasn't murdered for his transgressions. But, can I say that on YouTube? I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Squished, rather. I don't remember what happened to him. But I hate spiders. They suck. Anyway. I hope I didn't spend 3 minutes talking about a spider. Next question is, what is your favorite song? This is another one that's difficult for me. Favorite everythings are difficult for me because they change on the daily, again. but I can give you kind of a favorite genre at the moment, but also I can't. Because technically I wanted to initially say that my favorite genre would be pop punk because I'm going through my middle school music phase again. A lot of Avril, a lot of Paramore, a lot of Blink-182, but then there's also outliers like Evanescence, and I don't know if My Chemical Romance still counts as pop punk. It might. But yeah, definitely just middle school classic artists like that I've been listening to quite a lot of. Another outlier would be Taylor Swift, which is ironic that I got into Taylor Swift and Paramore again, and then recently, right after I started getting into them again, they released new music. I haven't heard any of Taylor's new album. I've heard parts of Anti-Hero, I think, and parts of another song that I don't remember the title of, but it plays on the radio all the time. But I have heard Paramore's new song, and I love it. I love the music video. I was transfixed. It was so good. So yeah, favorite songs from a handful of artists I will give. Evanescence would probably be Sweet Sacrifice, fully because of Full Metal Alchemist. Every Evanescence song belongs to Edward Elric. Like, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Every single Evanescence song I can attribute to Edward Elric, no issue. So yeah, Sweet Sacrifice though, for obvious reasons. Avril is hard, but I think it's called I'm With You, which unfortunately is another thing that I attribute to Edward Elric, particularly if you've seen the Conqueror of Shambhala movie, that is why, but also that's just always been one of my favorite Avril songs. Another one, I guess Paramore. Paramore would be Misery Business, I think, because it just hits. I like Misery Business. So yeah, those are my top threes, but I don't even know if those can necessarily count. Because another reason it's really hard for me to pick a favorite song is because I will listen to the same song on repeat. Like, for example, the first time I ever heard Red by Taylor Swift, I got so into that song, particularly Taylor's version of that song. I got so into that song that I played it over and over and over and over and over again until I was sick of it. And then I had to step away from it for a while, and now it's one of my favorite songs again. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, because when it is my favorite, I ruin it. So, I don't know. This next one that I got, I really, really like a lot. It's just so interesting to me. So this next question is, who are some of your art/artist inspirations now versus when you first started? So I really, really like this because I think it is just a really good contrast of how my interests change over time. I've never had somebody ask me both. It's always like, what are your inspirations now? I've never had somebody ask like what they were when I first started. So that is super, super interesting to me. So one of the ones I would say when I first started would be some really obvious answers, Bailey J and Mark Crilly. Basically, if you were a creator on YouTube in the early 2000s, I probably watched your content. You were probably a big inspiration to me. So yeah, those two though in general, I used to copy Mark Crilly tutorials to a T. And Bailey J, I used to watch her vlogs all the time and be like, I want to do that. I never thought I would be a vlogger or even have a YouTube channel, to be honest with you. I just wanted to be an illustrator like her. But lo and behold, here I am on YouTube creating content, which is cool. But yeah, I used to love her stuff. I still watch it every once in a while for nostalgia and stuff, and just to see what she's up to, because again, she was a big inspiration of mine as a kid. I don't really consume Mark Crilly tutorials anymore. I don't even know if he still makes them. But yeah, I definitely saw a handful of his work back then. He was one of the ones that really, really got me like drawing. I used to draw a lot as a child. We'll get into that in some of the questions here in the future. But I used to actually study his tutorials, copy them, but then not only do that, I would be able to take that and then kind of make it my own, if that makes sense. I was able to incorporate that into my own personal style. And while my own personal style was certainly curious back then, I still found myself retaining that information and actually applying it to my work, which was really interesting to me. As far as some of my inspirations now, that varies a lot all the time. Some of my biggest inspirations, and this throws me off every time you guys say it because it's hard for me to believe and understand that that is a thing. Drawing with waffles is one of my biggest inspos, and you guys compare me to Rin all the time, which is so cool. Like, what? No, that I don't believe you. Anyway, so yeah, definitely drawing with waffles, but also something that I find myself consuming a ridiculously amount of content of, despite not actually having any experience in the craft, is doll customizing videos. Literally like Enchantarium, Moonlight Jewel, Delightful, Hextian, Etalon. I watch a lot of Etalon. I love her videos. I don't do that at all. I do not customize dolls, but when I consume that type of content, I'm super productive. It's very motivating for me. I don't know what it is. I had a dream last night, actually, that I customized a doll. I don't know. It was so vivid. It was just like, yeah, I do this now in my dream. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, I really should one of these days. But yeah, I don't know where to begin, but it would be very fun. And yeah, and while I don't do any of that, it keeps me motivated doing my regular work, like my commission work, my illustrations, just whatever I'm doing, really motivating. So yeah, definitely inspirations would be doll customizers, which is so weird. There are, of course, digital artists and stuff that I'm inspired by as well, but they're the ones, for whatever reason, that make me really motivated. So the next question I have talked about this on this channel quite a few times, but I guess I will come at it from a little bit of a different perspective because I get it every time I receive a Q&A. So I'm just going to answer it slightly differently because I think I've had some more time to think about it. And that is just, what made you become an artist? So I've always said that I saw some kind of art book. I think it was like the Alice Madness Returns art book as a kid, and that just kind of inspired me to become a concept artist and, take my work more seriously. But then as I was recording this Q&A, I think I've been a lot more mindful this past year of like my career and the path that I want to take or have wanted to take, or wanted to in the past rather. And I don't know, I was very thoughtful that day, and I kind of realized that deep down I always knew in some fashion that I was going to have some kind of creative career. Everybody as a kid is a creative. We're encouraged to do it. I don't know, like everybody's experience, obviously this is just from my perspective, but from my perspective, how I grew up as kids in school. In school, we were always taught to be creative. We had projects. I'm sure most people have done macaroni art or construction paper snowmen, for the holidays, things like that. We have like creativity built into the curriculum. But what made me feel was different for me personally is that I didn't just stick to creativity inside of schoolwork. It was like anytime we had free time or the ability to do something artistic that wasn't necessarily like an art project but had illustrations involved in it, I always was really attached to those or interested in those particular projects. Every artist has had the experience where they're in like English class or something, and you have to draw something and everybody's looking at you because they're like, you're gonna do it, aren't you? I want to be in your group so I don't have to, stuff like that. But yeah, I've just always been kind of artistic. I think it helps that I come from an artistic family as well. My grandma is a painter. My dad used to draw a lot when he was younger. So I've always had kind of creativity surrounding me. And it just always was what I gravitated towards. And even from the point where I was really tiny, I think it was maybe like, 7 at the oldest, maybe. I might have been 5 because I would have been in kindergarten. It's possible that I was 5 or 7, somewhere in that age range. I had one of those books. I don't know if you guys have heard of these before or seen them, where it's essentially several sheets of like papers with patterns on them, whether that's like a denim paper or it's like a floral or a polka dot or gingham or whatever. Just a bunch of different patterns, and then at the back it had like stencils and stuff of different pieces of clothing, so like blouses, jeans, you know, stuff like that, so that you could trace them out onto the pattern paper and then make outfits out of them. And from that point on, I was like, I'm gonna be a fashion designer. Wrong, I cannot sew. It is difficult. It is very hard. I'm so not good at it. Every time there's a tear in anything that I tear, I hand it to my husband. I'm like, please fix this, because he knows how to do it. I don't. But yeah, when I was little, I was convinced that I was going to be a fashion designer. And then rather than being one of those kids where I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a fashion designer, I'm gonna be an astronaut, I'm gonna be a mathematician, you know, jumping back and forth between all of these vastly different careers, I just was always like, oh, I'm gonna be a fashion designer, oh, I'm gonna be a painter, I'm gonna be a concept artist. You know, it was all artists or artistry based things. And so I think like from a very young age, I always knew like, this is my option. This is what I'm gonna do. There is no plan B. I'm gonna be creative in some way, shape, or form. That's going to be my career. I see no other options. The other options are other artistic based careers. Oh, me being a painter isn't working out? Well, okay, I'm now a storyboard artist. Like that's what it's going to be. I am always going to be some type of illustrator or creative in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I don't think I ever sat down and decided to become an artist. It just was rather the type of artist that continued to shift. So yeah, I think I just always knew, not to be cheesy, but like I that's what I was gonna do, whether subconsciously or consciously. I always knew I was gonna be an artist. Okay, so this next question that we have is one that makes me angry, and so I will try to get through it as quickly as possible because I don't want to be angry. I want this to be a chill, relaxing video, but it is a question that I want to answer nonetheless because I do think that it is something that needs to be discussed, as many creators on this platform already have, and that is thoughts on the AI art debacle from recently. So, in general, I do think that AI art can be a really unique and interesting tool when used responsibly, and I don't want to say sustainably, that's not the right word, respectfully, I guess, I don't know, when used properly, I guess. You know, I saw somebody take the MLM flag and put it through a filter on TikTok a few times, and watching it go from just a few colored stripes to this beautiful like mountainous landscape with like the prettiest sky I have seen is awesome. I think that's amazing and is a great way for artists to take inspiration from. At first I saw it as something that was, you know, I mean, we've all seen the memes on Dolly. They're funny. When Dolly first came out, people were using it for like the most creative and also hilarious things. So yeah, I think it can definitely be used as a tool for inspiration, or, you know, to make people laugh, to further your own artwork if you so choose, or if you're somebody who's not creative, or, well, not somebody who's not creative, but somebody who, you know, maybe struggles to get the result that they want with their own work, or maybe can't figure out, you know, if you're a beginner and don't necessarily know how to draw the ideas you have in your head yet, they can be used as such an interesting tool. However, some people recently have decided to get a little more malicious with it. For example, I cannot remember the artist's name, forgive me for that. I know that sucks, but I wasn't familiar with his work. I just remember that the concept of the story really stuck out in my head. I will hopefully remember to put it on screen, but an artist had passed, and not too long after, I'm pretty sure it was either the same day or very recently after the news had broke that this artist had passed, somebody took it upon themselves to input all of that artist's work and train an AI to be able to recreate that artist's work, and then was demanding people on Twitter who used that AI to credit him, the person who trained the AI, rather than the artist himself, which I think is disgusting and ridiculous that someone passed and you immediately thought of how you can profit off of that. That is weird. That is so nasty of you. I think that's super messed up. And then not only that, but there's people going around. I have a direct, actually, a direct experience with, I guess what people have been calling AI bros. I posted my commission information on TikTok for several reasons. TikTok is my biggest platform, and for some reason, I did not have my information up on there. I would advertise every once in a while, like, hey, I have commissions open, but those videos would get flagged because TikTok does not like artists very much. But yeah, so I finally decided to just make a quick slide that had my commission information and pin it so that people could find it easily if, you know, one of my videos went viral and they wanted to check it out. And then on that video, somebody commented, "No thanks, I would rather use insert AI and train it to use your artwork, or train it to learn your style rather than commission you." And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't actually say anything in response. I just deleted the comment because it's stupid. I don't think that, you know, it's not something that I want to have around visible in my sphere. I would rather just have people that want to be positive when it comes to stuff like that. But, you know, it doesn't scare me that there's people that say things like that in that sense of, like, I don't think that AI is going to be stealing anybody's careers. In the long run, I genuinely do not believe that. Even these jerks that are going around like, oh, you artists are just mad because you're going to have to get a real job. Wrong. First of all, art is a real job. It takes hours to create illustrations. I'm sure you guys know that, hence why you're watching an art video. But yeah, I mean, you guys know art takes time, but also at the same time, the people that commission artists, like actually commission artists, are doing it because they like the interaction. They like to be able to be involved with the process. They like to be able to communicate with artists and, you know, really get their work, you know, looking the way that they want it, but also, you know, just to have all these different interpretations of their character. You cannot do that with an AI. You cannot type in insert character's name. So example, I'm gonna bring this into Full Metal Alchemist because I bring everything into Full Metal Alchemist. So in this universe, we are pretending Edward Elric does not exist, because y'all know if you type Edward Elric in a thing, it's gonna make it because that's him. But let's pretend in this universe that Edward Elric is my OC, okay? I just made him. He doesn't exist. Full Metal Alchemist is not real. This is just my character, Edward Elric, right? Well, if I go to an AI and type in Edward Elric, what are they gonna do? Nothing, because the AI doesn't know what the hell that is. Even if I were to sit down and type out every descriptor I can for Edward. So, short, blonde, braid, cowlick, bangs, red coat, big black boots. If I were to type down every single description for Edward, it still would not input Edward. It would make a character, sure, maybe, possibly, but it wouldn't be my OC. Unless I sat down and like shoved, you know, you'd have to get art from somewhere of your character, train it to recognize that character and also that character's name, that character's characteristics, train it so heavily to be able to input that, or you know, output that character when you're using an AI. I don't know exactly how it works, but from my understanding, you know, you wouldn't be able to just, you know, let's say you have like some random cat girl anime character. You wouldn't be able to just type in your character's name or your character's characteristics and then have the output be your character, unless you really, really trained it to specifically recognize your character. And even then, there are flaws with AI art. You know, there's the hands look weird a lot of the time. There's warping, like if you edit something too much in Photoshop, for example. You know, just they're not perfect. And I don't think they were intended to be. And I don't think that, you know, that's what people are expecting. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that the people that want to commission artists, they're going to go to artists. They're not going to go to AI. And if they do go to AI, they're still not going to get the results that they would be able to achieve with an artist. And so I don't think anybody's going to be losing their careers over something like this. I think that people just think that because they can make something pretty with AI, that means that, you know, they're gonna take over the art industry and they're gonna win everything. I don't know. I think the people that are malicious about it suck, but in the long run, it's an interesting tool. It'll be nice to see how it develops. I wish they would stop stealing from artists, because I have heard that a lot of art generators that, you know, create illustrations as their output get their info from things like Google Images or you know, stolen artwork. You know, the images are being processed without artists' knowledge or consent, which is really frustrating, to the point where some AI generators are even able to copy illustrators' styles down to their signatures, which is not cool. I think that sucks. It's definitely art theft. Also, the copyright laws are just not in a good enough place to be able to determine who owns the work that comes out when you use an AI output. Is it the artist whose work is being stolen and used to create that output? Is it the person that input the keywords to achieve that end result? Or is it the platform of the AI? I don't know. If you ask me, I personally think it's the artists who are having their work stolen, because these AI would not be able to create these outputs without them. So yeah, I think that there's definitely a lot of gray area, and there's definitely a lot of malicious activity when it comes to AI, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't be afraid. If you're an artist that's heard about all of this and is starting to get scared, don't be, because again, people are going to commission you because they want that interaction with you, because they want that end result. They want to be involved in the process. They want to be able to have the output be their character, if that makes sense. Sorry, that was I said that was going to be short, but I think this was the longest response to a question I've had so far. But I have a lot to say about it, because just, you know, it's a complicated topic. So yeah, that's generally how I feel about it. Good and bad. Good tool, bad execution, maybe bad response, bad usage of something that could possibly be a cool tool. How do you deal with art block? So obviously we associate art block with really negative emotions and feelings and things. However, I say that it's positive because the thing that you need to do to get rid of art block is to just take care of yourself. Take some time away from work. If this is your job or if it's your hobby, you know, take some time away from art in general, and just take some time to do some things that you enjoy without pressuring yourself to create something. So for example, I really love Breath of the Wild so much. By the way, Breath of the Wild 2, oh my god, I cannot wait for this game to come out. I'm literally dying. Pokemon is going to be the only thing that is holding me until Breath of the Wild comes out. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, great example. Game I love to play when I have art block and I just need to sit down and chill and lose myself. So I will play Breath of the Wild, or I'll play Minecraft or Sims or something. I will take time away from art and just be lazy. And I know that that's scary, because a lot of the time when people are dealing with art block, it's because maybe you have deadlines or you're doing a lot of different things at once. So if one of the reasons you are art blocked is because you have deadlines, talk to your clients, let them know like, hey, there might be a bit of a delay between updates if you are somebody that, you know, updates throughout the process. Or just, you know, communicate with your clients and say, hey, this might be a little later than expected, blah, 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 work out something between the two of you. More often than not, a client will be understanding. You know, you don't have to pressure yourself to work more than you can handle. So yeah, try to talk to your clients. I'm sure it'll be fine. I've had clients where like they'll ask for an update and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. It's been a week. I promise I will get it to you really soon. And more often than not, they're like, oh my god, yeah, of course, you're fine. You know, chill, do whatever you need to do. So yeah, try to communicate with your clients if you have a deadline. But again, more often than not, the reason that you're art blocked is because you're too in on work or creating. And maybe the reason that you're art blocked is because of deadlines. Maybe, you know, those are overwhelming for you. Or maybe it's because you're unhappy with your work and nothing that you make feels good enough. So if those two are something that you're struggling with, taking time away from them is the best remedy for that, because you're taking, one, in the sense of like if you're constantly overworked, then taking time away is like, oh, now I get time to relax. Or B, two, if you are just unhappy with how your work looks, then taking some time away from your work and then coming back to it, more often than not, you'll be getting a different mindset and you'll be able to look at it and be like, that is not as terrible as my brain was letting me think it is. In fact, that's actually really cute. I should chill out. I should have done that sooner. Now I feel better. But yeah, take some time away. And then another thing that I like to do is to take some time away, and then rather than trying to jump straight back into, okay, I played, Breath of the Wild for 3 days straight, now I should really do commission work. I should really do that. No, don't do it like that. Play Breath of the Wild for 3 days in a row, or 3 days in a row, sure. But rather than jumping straight into work again, kind of slowly start consuming art content again, whether that be jumping on Instagram every once in a while, or maybe watching a vlog or something like that. Slowly start consuming things that inspire you again, and then you'll start itching to want to draw again. And not only will you be itching to draw, but you will have inspiration, which means when you finally allow yourself to touch that pen to paper again, you will create something that you enjoy because you were inspired and you wanted to draw. So yeah, that's my number one piece of advice. Take time away and then slowly start gaining inspiration again. Try not to think about work. I know it's hard. Try not to think, oh, I'm not drawing right now. I really should be drawing. Just try to relax, enjoy yourself, take a bubble bath, just try to take care of yourself. Self-care, ease into it, and then you'll be back before you know it. Wow, that was a lot harder to describe than I thought it would be. I should take a sip of coffee. By the way, coffee, speaking of, it's chestnut praline season again. Oh my god. I know everybody talks about the peppermint mocha so much and the new friggin' sugar cookie almond. I hate that sugar cookie latte. It is nasty. It's gross. It's really bad. Sugar cookie, oat milk, whatever the heck you are gnarly. I feel like chestnut praline should be advertised. Not a single year have I ever seen chestnut praline on the menu. I know that it exists, but it's never like on the board. Let my girl shine. She's delicious. If you like sweet coffee, but not so sweet that it's not coffee anymore, chestnut praline. Oh my god, I love her. Another sip of her for the road. Next question is going to be a bit of a hard one, but I want to try to answer it because I don't know. I think it would be nice. And that is there anything that makes you feel particularly down on yourself, and how do you remedy that? So the next question that we have is one that is particularly broad, but I will try to keep it short, and that is, what keeps you going? So in the long run, short. in the short run, what keeps me going is you guys. You know, people that see my work, and even if it's little comments like, oh, her eyes are pretty, that's enough for me to be like, oh, her eyes are pretty. Oh my God, I'm such a good artist. And even though I might have felt bad literally moments before and been like, oh, I'm the worst artist ever, I can't even draw an eyelash, then having somebody comment and be like, oh my God, those eyes look really good, I'm like, oh my God, those eyes do look good, I'm such a great artist. It's really silly, but just having a support system, no matter how big or small, even back when it was only like 5 of you guys on Instagram, I thought I was gonna make it as an artist because I got 5 likes on an Instagram post in like 2017. So having any support system at all is enough to keep me going, because I get really in my head about stuff, and when there's people, no matter how many big or little comments there are, of people pulling me out of that, that's enough for me to keep going. So yeah, long story short, you guys keep me going, so thank you for that. And yeah, I don't know, just you guys, family, goals. If you, so say you have a really tiny platform, and you're looking for something to keep you going, try to set a goal, and do not let that goal be numbers. Don't, because numbers are stupid. For example, Instagram, I have like 5,000 something followers on Instagram. My reach is dead on there. It does not matter that I have 5,000, because it's the Instagram algorithm changes all the time. Have your goals be stuff like, oh, I'm gonna make this type of work. Oh, I'm gonna create this many pieces about this type of thing. Or, oh, I want to do this event. Have it be that. Have it be career-based goals rather than number-based goals, because in the long run, your number of followers is not going to matter. It's not integrity, but the community that you build around those numbers. So whether it's 17 or 70 or 700 or 7,000, if those people are, you know, into your work and communicating with you, and you're creating a community, then that's going to be something that's going to be really positive. So set goals, but don't let those goals be numbers, and hopefully that helps keep you going too. Okay. This next question, I have to pull out Instagram for... Would Instagram be a good option? Because I don't really post on here. I'm just going to post on Instagram because, and actually it's true, because that is technically the most recent, least favorite piece I have done. So, the next question is, what is your favorite recent piece you've done and your least favorite? So my favorite recent piece I've done is probably a tie between the zombie girl I did for Scriptober and the end result of last week's video, the Ohuhu marker one that I did, which was also for Scriptober. And the least favorite one is the last day of Halloween. It just is a busted sketch, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, okay. I have been planning for Halloween all month because was it really all month? All month I'd been planning to vaguely go as Edward Elric because I cosplayed, or I didn't cosplay, I had like a coat that I converted into kind of like a casual cosplay kind of thing. I dyed it red, and then I put the Flamel cross on the back of it, really big, ginormous, and that was gonna be my Halloween costume, but then I bought a wig. And I styled it. I really liked the end result. So I was too busy thinking all day about how I get to cosplay Ed that I forgot that Scriptober, last day, Halloween was a thing. And by the time I remembered, I was already at my friend's house partway through a Monster Prom game. I was like, I really should draw something. And it looks bad. It's like, the theme was candy, so I drew like a couple of ugly pieces of like, I don't know where this comes from, because I've never seen a piece of candy that looks like this, but you know the little circle ones with like maybe like a stripe and then they're like twisty on the sides? Why did everybody decide that that was the universal representation of candy? Where did we get that from? I don't know, but I drew a couple of those and some candy corns, and it looks very bad. I don't like it at all. So that's definitely my least favorite, my least favorite piece. But yeah, the first two, definitely a tie, just because I love Monster Girls. Monster Girls is cute. I love to draw them. They always come out looking really pretty because I get to use all my favorite colors. And yeah, those are definitely my favorites. The next question that we have is this question is curious. How long did it take for you to be able to effortlessly draw hands? I don't know. I haven't reached that point yet. I don't know what you're talking about. Hands are hard. They have always been hard. But one thing that I will say, I gaslit myself into thinking that I was good at drawing hands, because one time I did a hand study and it was so pretty. I will put it up on screen if I have it available and remember to insert it. When I finished this, I was like, I am the master at drawing hands. Am I? No, not at all. But can I draw hands now? Yes. So honestly, gaslight yourself. That is how you do it. Do a study, make it look pretty, thicken some lines, add some color, and then stare at that page and be like, wow, that's beautiful. I must know how to draw that now. I need to do that with feet and shoes because I can't draw them. It's so hard. Every time I get a full body commission, I'm internally screaming because I'm like, how do you draw feet? I don't know. How do I draw a boot? A tennis shoe? Everybody's getting flip-flops. I don't know. It's hard. It's difficult. But that's what I did with hands. I didn't even do it without intention. It's just after completing it, I literally was like, I'm the master. I know how to draw hands. They will never be a struggle again. And then they weren't. I mean, they're still kind of hard. I still have to overthink every once in a while. But I'm significantly faster than I used to be able to be at it. So yeah, definitely number one, gaslight yourself. That's it. Next up, we have, what is your favorite thing about your art style? So, my favorite thing about my art style, I think, honestly, is my usage of color. I complain about color theory a lot, and that is more so not because I dislike color theory, but rather because I like colors so much that it is hard for me to pick an end result for a piece unless I specifically have an idea in mind as I'm illustrating the character, like, oh, this character is going to be this color, hair, eyes, etc. But yeah, I really love color. Honestly, like, I could hate a piece up until the color stage. Like, I will do the sketch, I will do the line art, and then I'll be like, oh, this is awful, whatever, I'm gonna push through it. I finish the color and I'm like, oh my god, this is so pretty. This is the best thing I've ever made. So yeah, definitely I think my favorite thing about my art style is color. Second favorite thing, maybe lashes. I don't know. I get a lot of people compliment me on how I do little noses. I think they're cute. But they make me mad because I honestly, especially when I do commission work, the way that I do them is so round and buttony. And when it comes to people with different shaped noses, I really need to study how to. I'm capable of drawing them in like a realism or a semi-realism sense, but when it comes to drawing them in my art style, it looks so wonky. And I'm eventually able to get it, but I really need to study it so that it comes as more effortless rather than me having to overthink. Okay, how can I translate this? But yeah, I get a lot of compliments on my noses, but I think colors and lashes are my favorite things. Next question is very hard for me to answer, and it is, if you had to describe yourself to a stranger who doesn't know you in 5 words, what would you use? That is hard because honestly, I am a different person every day. My personality wavers so extremely that it's really hard. But things that I guess are consistent are creative, I guess. Ambivert, because I'm one of those people where if I'm around a stranger, very quiet. I probably wouldn't even describe myself to this stranger because I'd be like, you're a stranger. Somebody else introduced me. I don't know you. You scare me. I didn't even meet my husband by me introducing myself. It was my friend. My friend screamed at their cosplay group and was like, oh my god, guys! And that got their attention. So, definitely, I'm too quiet and I'm shy. But once I get to know you, I'm loud and obnoxious. Hence why I'm obnoxious on this YouTube channel. Because while I don't know you, I feel like I try to do this channel as if I'm talking to my friends. So this is what it's like to be in my inner circle. Welcome. The next question. No, same question. I forgot. Same question, different word. Short, I guess. I'm not even 5 foot tall. Fun fact about me. Not so fun fact. My husband thinks I got a little taller recently, so I'm excited to see if that's true. But as for now, I'm short. 2 more. This is so difficult because I do not perceive myself, if that makes sense. I don't know how I would describe myself to somebody. Oh god, this is so much more difficult than I thought it was gonna be. 2 more words to describe me. I guess, what's that word where you're like absent-minded, I guess. I space out quite frequently. Spacey is another one. And excitable, I guess, but not really. If you get me talking about a certain topic, sure. But that's another word, so I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know if it's an accurate description necessarily, but I guess. There we go. And the final question that we have from this person in particular is pineapple on pizza. No. No. Never. Just because it took me a really long time to even like pineapple in general. Pineapple, I was a very picky eater as a child, and now growing up into my adulthood, I do enjoy pineapples now. I think they're nice, but also they're such a strong tart flavor that does not belong on a pizza. And also I don't like Canadian bacon, which I think is the secondary topping, or maybe it's the primary and the pineapple is the secondary. But, you know, pineapple pizza, Hawaiian pizza, the 2 toppings are Canadian bacon and pineapple. I hate Canadian bacon, and while I like pineapple, I think the idea of a hot, sour pineapple on a pizza is gross. I think that's not good. And I don't even want to begin to think about what that would mean for the texture of both the pineapple and the pizza. That just sounds gross. No. Maybe one day I'll try it. Maybe one day. But that is not today. That is nasty. That is gross. No. Okay, next batch. So, one is, did you always use the iPad for digital art, or did you start with something else? No, I have not always used an iPad. In fact, I can give you an entire timeline chronologically of every tablet that I have ever used. Not down to the exact name and model, but I can for some of them. So, I started out, my very first drawing tablet ever was a screenless tablet. It was called a Bamboo Fun, I believe. And I was obsessed with that thing. It took me a really long time to train myself to be able to use it, to be able to like, register like, okay, this is on the screen, this is on the tablet, you know, kind of get that hand-eye coordination going. But eventually, even though I did get used to it, as I got older, I started seeing artists that I admired using Cintiq tablets. And I was like, I really want a Cintiq. And so eventually I got one. But it was a really humongous, like, hand-me-down 2001 Cintiq tablet, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was a screen, it was great, it worked really well. The problem was that it was huge and it was old and it had a VGA port, and the more time went by, the more I was like, this tablet is beginning to be a liability. It's hot, it's huge, it's heavy, and also my new laptop can't use this cord anymore. So I don't know whatever happened to that tablet, to be honest with you, but eventually I was like, I want to switch to something more lightweight, a little more up to date, that can keep up with new softwares and stuff and isn't struggling as much as this big old Cintiq was. So I moved on to a QnA screen tablet. I don't remember which one. I do remember it was roughly like $400-ish that I got on Amazon. Obsessed with that thing. I loved it so much until one day I stomped on it. I was cleaning my room, and for whatever reason it was on the damn floor, and I stepped on it and I broke the screen. And the thing is, at that point in time, I didn't have money. I got that tablet as a gift, the Cintiq, prior to it. Every tablet I'd ever have, it was the only thing I wanted for Christmas. I just want this, because I, again, creator, illustrator, that's my goal. So every time a holiday came up, I was like, please, I just want a graphics tablet. So yeah, I didn't have money at the time. It was far away from Christmas, and it was also starting to become a little bit more of my career. So you can imagine the struggle, the sheer terror that I was going through. And so I was like, I need to get something cheap. I can't afford to replace a $400 tablet. So I just got a cheap, another QnA tablet. It was primarily used for OSU players. I think it was like an HP, or it was like an H640p, I think is what it was called. It was just a little teeny tiny, again, screenless tablet. So I had to reteach myself hand-eye coordination, things like that. Wasn't too big of a stretch because I actually had hand tablets at school. So because I was in a photography class, but I was also in a graphic design class where that's the type of tablet that we used there. So I didn't have to reteach myself too much. It was just a matter of getting used to that at home again, and for my personal work rather than for schoolwork. So there was that tablet, and then eventually I think I started seeing the iPad come up shortly after that. I think I went through 2 of those 640p's actually. I'm not sure. But anyway, I started seeing the iPad going around, and at first I was like, that's stupid. Who would want to draw on an iPad? But then I saw Procreate. And then I saw Miss Bailey J pick up an iPad. I saw her talking about how nice it was to have something that you could pick up and move around and like go wherever you want, draw wherever you want. And I was like, wherever I want? No cords? There's no cords? Because one thing I always wished about screen tablets was that they didn't have cords, that you could draw wherever, that you didn't have to plug directly into your laptop. And so when I got my iPad, I was like, yes, this is perfect. And I've been using the iPad ever since. But I'm not gonna lie, I have been eyeing screen tablets again because I really miss Painttool's Eye a lot. Like bad. I really badly miss Painttool's Eye. But no, I'm gonna stick with my iPad because I just bought. This is my second iPad. I had a 10-inch iPad, and then I started to develop wrist problems, and so I got a 12-inch iPad. And also my 10-inch iPad died. It just went crazy on me. So I was like, yeah, it's time for an upgrade. So yeah, no, I haven't always used an iPad, but I do like mine now, although I have been looking at alternatives. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If any tablet companies want to hit me up. I miss Psy so bad. I do love Procreate though. Anyway, next question. Is art or YouTube your full-time job? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, it's my full-time job because I have a support system around me that's letting me kind of build up until this is a more sustainable income. This has been my most sustainable year so far. I've been able to do things like make a car payment and insurance. I have a car now. I did not have that before, which is awesome. I have been able to consistently make above a certain threshold for commissions, whereas I used to, like, I think last year I only made like, I was lucky if I made like 200 in a month from commission work, and then every so often made something from Etsy, but it's like been like I have like a little business now, which is really cool. That has never been something that has been true for me. It's always just me really trying and promising like, hey, this will be more consistent if I just keep going. I'm at the going. It's happening. So yeah, while it's not technically enough to be like a fully like self-sustaining income, I think I have a very positive outlook on my future in that regard. I think this will eventually become 100% my full-time job, which I am very grateful for. A big part of that is due to you guys, whether that's because you watch my YouTube videos or because you support my commissions or because you share my work on social media. So if you do that, thank you. I love you. Not quite there, but getting there very soon. Very much looking forward to that. Next question is, do you have any pets? Yes, I have like a bajillion cats. I wish I was kidding. I have like 3, I think, if you count my husband's cat that currently lives with his parents. And then I have 2 cats here. So yeah, lots of little kitties. I love them. Cats are so cute. I think they're adorable. I really want a dog. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm waiting until I move out to get a dog, because just in the space that I'm currently in, that would be a lot. And I don't even know if I want a dog, to be honest with you. I might be settled with just my cats. So yeah, I got pets. I got lots of little kitties. And the next question is something, again, that I cannot answer really truthfully, honestly. It is, if you could only eat one food item for the rest of your life, what would it be? So I am somebody that has what I would call safe foods. I don't necessarily know if that's what they technically are, but that's what I call them because I noticed that, you know, I eat them similarly to people who refer to them as that. So I'm just assuming that's what they are. I will eat the same thing over and over and over and over again until I'm sick of it. And then I have to eat something else. And then I will eat that same thing over and over and over again until I'm sick of it. So I don't think I could possibly ever eat one food for the rest of my life because I would get sick of it. But I will say I go through like a rotation of safe foods. So ones that I get really stuck on are sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwiches, frozen bean and cheese burritos, ravioli, beef stroganoff is another one. Burritos in general, to be honest. Did I already say ravioli? I think I did. Cheese of any type and variety except for like the moldy cheeses. I don't really like those. Those are gross. Yeah, just a cycle of the same things over and over and over again. I don't think there is any one food on this earth I could eat consistently and not get sick and nasty about it. So yeah. Okay, so this next one is actually a really good one, and it is, how do you balance having the energy to do commissions while still being able to make art for yourself? And the answer is I don't. Don't be like me. Over the past couple of months, I have been very bad at focusing exclusively on commissions and doing no personal work unless that personal work is for an alternative project like Scriptober, for example. I suck at doing personal work and I really need to get back into doing it. I would say in an ideal world, the way to have balance, or the way that I'm trying to now, is to recognize when I'm getting burnt out with things like commissions and kind of try to schedule things a little bit more comfortably, you know, if that makes sense. Kind of work out, try to gauge yourself. Notice, when am I getting burnt out? When am I getting frustrated? And then try to be like, okay, I'm going to quit working on commissions before I get to that point, and then I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to play a video game, or I'm going to try to draw something for myself, you know, do my own kind of thing. Just try to take breaks before you're irritated rather than trying to work through your irritation, because especially this year for me, for example, the minute I get done with a commission or get close to being done with a commission, I get another one, which is good because that's what I need to be able to have a sustainable income, but also not good because here I am going, I just finished my commissions, now I can do my personal work. Wrong, because here's another commission. So now you can't do personal work until that one's done. So rather, what you should do is break up your day into time to do commissions, time to relax, time to do work for self, and then, you know, if you get to the time of day where you're like, you know, I should be, you know, playing a video game or relaxing or, you know, taking time for myself right now, but I'm really into this commission, I'm having time, I'm enjoying it. Keep doing whatever, keep doing you. It's just a matter of trying to figure out when to stop before you're irritated, so that you have the energy to do other types of things. So yeah, that sounds kind of confusing, but really it differs from person to person. Try to figure out what is your limit, stop before you reach your limit, and don't treat commissions as I cannot do anything else until these are done. Because that's where I think the balance issue comes in. Because that's what I do. I'll be like, well, I have to finish this commission. I can't work on this because I have a client that's waiting on this. Which, yeah, it's true. I do have clients waiting on it. But they don't care if there's only a day's difference. Like, you know, if I work on an illustration today and then they get their update tomorrow. That's why my tat isn't freaking 3 days exclusively. It's like 3 to 9 because I generally do a stage every day that I work on a commission. So like if I have a commission, there's 3 different stages. Every day that I work on it technically is only a duration of 3 days. However, it's not 3 consecutive days because I am trying to learn to recognize when I'm at my limit and try not to go crazy. So yeah, long story short, try to stop before you get mad, and don't treat commissions as a be-all, end-all. Try to take time outside of commissions to do other stuff, and don't, you know, say you can't do anything until you finish your commissions. I hope that makes sense. The next question we have is, do you think you've made a lot of art pieces this year, and how many are you proud of? Oh, that's a good question. Probably a lot. I've made, at least a good handful, probably a couple hundred. So that's cool. How many am I proud of? Ooh, that depends. It fluctuates, because sometimes I'll look at a piece and as I'm making it, I'll be like, this is the worst thing ever. And then I'll look back at it next week and I'll be like, oh, that's really cute. That's one of my favorite pieces. So I'd say it fluctuates. It's really hard for me to say how many I'm proud of. I know I'm proud of at least a handful. There's definitely a lot that I do like. But there's also a lot that I hate. And I don't know how long I'm going to hate those. So, good question. Rough answer. Okay, so this last question is technically kind of a jokey question, so I'm just gonna get through it and then kind of go through like a little catch-up thing just to tell you guys about where I've been this past year and why everything has been so spread out as far as uploads and things go. So the next question, the final question is, how did you get to be so cool and one of my closest friends? I don't know, Scribble Eddie. Follow them on Instagram, by the way. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all of the things. They're really cool. And the answer to that is, I don't know. Know you, I suppose. How did you do this? They're a really cool person. I don't remember exactly how I started talking to them. I think they just commented on one of my posts or something, or maybe I commented on one of theirs out of the blue one day, and now we just talk sometimes, and it's cool. They're really funny. So yeah, I love their work. They were in my last video, or no, not last video, the video before the last one. The video that, whatever. It should have been the last video, but because this video went out a week late, it's a little different. I've been talking for a long time. Also, I noticed as I was recording this that the intro to some of the questions might be slightly cut off. So sorry about that. They did, but I've been talking for an hour, so I don't want to re-record those. But anyways, yeah, know you. So where have I been this last year? I have been going through so many major life changes, and they're not all negative. Some of them are positive, but some of them are also negative. So it's just been a lot of dealing with how rapidly my life has been changing, and also how it's been staying the same in the weirdest way. It's so hard to explain. But yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff all over the place this last year. And I think that has just led to me really struggling between, having a consistent balance of things like my personal work on this YouTube channel, and then also things like my commission work, so I can continue to stay consistent and have like a sustainable income as far as my commissions goes. But yeah, I've been having a really hard time balancing, but I'm hoping that I will be able to do so for the end of this year and also hopefully throughout next year, because I think it would be really awesome to be consistent on here again. I love this channel. I love this community that we have built. I would love to get the chance to talk to you guys more and make more videos. So yeah, that's definitely something that I want to do in the future. But yeah, mostly where I have been, working, struggling. I'm getting there. I'm in a good place. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. It's just been so chaotic. It is every time I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be more consistent on this channel, something else happens. But I think the last couple of months have kind of slowed down and given me more of an opportunity to breathe. And I think that with this opportunity to breathe, I'm going to put that breath, put that energy back into this channel and in this community. So yeah, I'm hoping that I will be uploading more here in the near future. With that being said, if there's anything you guys want to see from this channel, whether it's a more direct Q&A, something less chaotic, less crazy, or if it's, trying out a challenge, and if it's a challenge, what challenge do you guys want to see? Because I haven't seen a challenge video in quite some time. I might end up having to go to the basics. Another 3 marker, perhaps. I should do a 3 marker challenge with those hoo-hoo markers I just used, because they're cuties, but also it would be really interesting to see, because some of them are really light, but some of them are really like bright and vibrant. So maybe I'll do a 3 marker. I don't know. But if there's anything you guys want to see on this channel, please let me know. It doesn't have to be a challenge. It can be literally whatever you guys want to see. As long as it's art related or vaguely art related, I can stretch. I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.